Hello and welcome back to the Aficionerdo podcast.
I'm David Moulton.
And I'm Elaine Eightbytes. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey Elaine, have you been nerding out lately?
Yeah, yes I have been nerding out lately. So, we went through the holidays and everything like that, so it's been about 2 weeks since we last recorded. But I did encounter a lot of things in those 2 weeks. The first one I want to talk about, I think a lot of people have already seen. There was a YouTube video that was released called The Glitch. Have you encountered this yet?
I haven't. Please educate me.
I'm not entirely... I mean, they have a lot of different things on that channel, and I've seen these guys before, but they have a short 3-minute video spoof of just some video game characters encountering a glitch in their game, and it's really, really, really good. It's live action.
Oh, yes. I think it was Corridor Digital is the name of the YouTube channel. Yeah.
So we're gonna have that as a link. If you're a video game nerd and you haven't seen this yet, you need to go watch that because it's very well done and I loved it. I think they referenced Halo, Call of Duty, Super Mario, Link from Zelda, Minecraft. Steve was in it. Oh man. And there were only like 5 or 6 people in it, but they referenced a lot of different things. Very short, sweet, wonderfully done. So I geeked out on that. And then my husband also found Lindsey Stirling.
You found my wife, my future wife.
Your future wife. So you know who I mean when I say Lindsey Stirling.
Oh yeah.
For those who do not know who Lindsey Stirling is, she's a violinist, and I guess she's very, very well known for nerdy covers. So she's done a Zelda, she's done a Skyrim, she's done a lot of different things. So also YouTube link for those who haven't found her yet.
Really? She has some really good original stuff too.
Yeah, no. Yeah, very talented, and she likes to dance in her videos while playing the violin. I love everything to do with her. She's wonderful. Oh, let's see. Over the break, I pulled out and dusted off Dragon Age Origins. So okay. I'm enjoying that again. This time through, for those who like the game and know what I'm talking about. Have you played Dragon Age Origins?
I haven't. I have not. It's on my list.
It's kind of like, if you like RPGs, it should be on your list, as well as probably Oblivion and Skyrim. Anyway, or several others. Oh my god. Get into this. Like, we could probably have a whole show over RPG games. But the RPG game that I played, or I've been playing over the last 2 weeks, is Dragon Age Origins. And this time there's 6 different starting stories, and you only play one. So when you play your character, you pick your starting story. And this time around, I went with the mage, a female human mage. That matters. So that's its own little starting story. So I'm really enjoying that aspect and how dark it is, and it's a lot of fun. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun as a mage. Let's see. Oh, Ron's going to like this one. He asked me if I knew what a mud, like, he realized after, in our last show, I was talking about text adventures, right?
Yeah.
And because I talked about it in our last show, I went back to one of my old haunting grounds and I connected with a few of my old friends who I've been in contact with for years now. But I went ahead and I went and played on one of my old muds. And so I'm enjoying going back and using text-based interface and these commands that are stored in the back of my brain. I'm like, wow, I still remember how to do this and this and this and this. So I played a little bit of mudding. Do you know what mudding is?
No, I don't.
Okay, so...
I mean, I probably do. I just don't know it's called that.
Maybe we should... Yeah. Well, it's just think of it as a... Okay, so telnet, right? A simple parsing screen, rolling text.
Yeah.
So just that made into a dungeon that you can explore, characters, rolling. Yeah, I mean, it's just online. It's another way to play an online role-playing game.
Okay.
No graphic, all text.
You sent us an interesting, like feature-length documentary on text-based gaming too. Did you see that?
I hadn't had time to watch it yet, but I really want to.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch I watched the beginning of it, but I haven't had a chance to. This is like an hour and a half, and I just haven't had a chance to.
And if our listeners, if you're interested, I'll have a link for that too, if you're interested in that, because I think we're going to come back to texting. I think that text-based games in the Mudd era and Mudds and Mushes, I'm interested in it, and I think a lot of people need to realize that this is still out there. Like, this is not gone. This is a very strong community subculture.
Yeah.
It's still happening. So we'll get back to that. I guess I'll wrap up. The family game that I ended up playing over the holidays that I wasn't expecting is I sat down with my 5-year-old nephew and we played Cut the Rope together.
Yeah.
Cut the Rope.
I'm familiar. It's a good game. It's challenging. Like, it kind of surprises you a little bit.
Yes, and it has a very nice curve. It ramps up very nicely. So he did a very good job on that, and the whole experience. Carter, if he's listening, he's going to be all smug. It was on an iPad, and so he had no troubles, and he's been using an iPad for a couple years now. So, he sat right down on my lap and he was ready to play a physics game. So he did a really good job with that. And as a follow-up, I have to say I didn't get any soap baskets for Christmas.
How disappointed were you?
Not at all. I did get some perfume bottles. And that's always interesting when somebody gets because usually it's store brand, and I'll give it a chance. But no soap baskets is a new high. Like, I wish that could happen every year. No soap basket.
So, doesn't it make you feel like they think you smell or something?
No. I think perfuming gifts are indicative of me being a female. And them just trying to get me something nice and female-y. Specific gift. I did get some cool gifts, though. Husband and I got Munchkin 3 expansion.
Nice.
And we also scored Infamous 2 for the PS3. So
Very cool.
We are totally pleased. It was great. Both, like, Infamous 2 was from his mom, which is also a similar experience of my mom giving me Sandman. So, like, his mom gave me Infamous 2, and on the back it's like, with new blood rage, and da-da-da. And his mom was like, oh, that's interesting. How about you? How was your break, and what did you nerd out on?
My break was awesome. I had good holidays. Both of them were fun. A couple of things that I've been nerding out on is some of our listeners may know, but probably most of them don't. About a year ago, I was on a reality TV show on TLC called Geek Love, and it was about dating at Comic-Con. As you can imagine, it was a different experience, and the show didn't get picked up. They aired 2 episodes, and it recently got picked up by IGN's Start Network on YouTube. So they released a new trailer for new episodes. It looks good. Like I feel like the commercial that the trailer for the Start looks better than the trailers that they showed for the episodes that were on last year. Mm-hmm. So that's something for people to check out. I think it'll be interesting to watch it on YouTube. They might be a little bit more free as to what they can,
I'm going to watch it. Partly I'm going to watch it because you were involved with it. But also I'm going to watch it because I'm interested to see what such a tight scope, how they're going to choose to edit it. Because what they're getting into, I think, is something that a lot of people are going to be sensitive about.
Yeah, actually, that was something we were really worried about when the first ones were coming out. I was really concerned that, this could be one of those things where they make nerds look really bad.
Well, they for entertainment, it all depends on how they spend the editing, or if they show the same people who are doing this cosplay stuff, if they're going to show them in how people interact with the daily world. I think there's a lot of, and I guess we should come back to this someday, but I think there's some danger in recording people at Comic-Con.
Yeah, almost definitely.
Like it kind of makes them out. It makes your basic nerd out to be not connected to the world.
Yeah, I agree. And okay, so if our listeners want to hear more about this, let us know in the comments on YouTube and or email us at aficionerdo@gmail.com. And I can talk about my experience. We can talk about the whole thing.
I definitely want to know more about your experience. And I think we should have a show on what it was like to be on a reality TV show. If you're allowed to talk about it. I don't know if you have like a do not discuss thing.
No, it was a I wasn't like them since people haven't seen it. I wasn't the person that was the focus of the show as much as I was the love interest that one of the people was focus on the show found, or as much of a love interest for the purpose of story, I should say. So
I'm excited about the show. I'm excited about it coming back.
So we have a link to the trailer, and if you want to see the episode that I was in, you can go to my YouTube channel and find it there.
Yay!
So moving on, the Doctor Who Christmas special happened. The Downton Abbey Christmas special also happened, but we won't talk about that.
The Downton Abbey?
Downton, yes. Yep, not downtown.
I said it right.
Yay! Are you a Doctor Who fan?
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
It's so sad for over there.
Okay, before everybody has a rage quit, my husband really wishes that I was. We tried to, we diligently sat down and we watched most of the first season, all of the first season, and I couldn't do it. And here's why. It's because some of the shows are really scary.
Okay.
And when you get disturbing like that with me, I struggle. I really struggle. So I was doing good, but then we got to the episode where everybody turns into gas mask people.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it. Yeah, that's just wrong. And I forget what the name of that show is, and I know that it gets worse. I'm sure there's some Who fans that are like, it gets worse. That one wasn't the worst one at all. And I'm like, I don't want to be freaked out.
I can that was a good answer. If you would have been like, oh, the special effects, or I don't like the story, I probably would have, attacked you with my fanaticism.
You know what I would
can respect
to is if somebody without spoiling me would give me a list of shows that I need to watch to appreciate Doctor Who but not be scared. I would jump on that boat.
Scared is so relative though, Like some of the best episodes have a lot of suspense, but they could be kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of that's a tough one.
All right. Well, all right. What else?
Okay, so moving on. This one's for the gentleman out there. Then it ties into something else. There was a picture of Alison Brie from Community being passed around dressed up as Captain America. Now, I don't know if this is for a special episode of the show or what, but she looked fantastic. So I'm just going to say that. But that ties into the fact that I've been watching Earth's Mightiest Heroes Avengers, the cartoon.
Oh.
And yeah, they put the second season on Netflix, and it only went for 2 seasons. It is fantastic. If you like Avengers and you're the type of nerd person that can still enjoy like superhero cartoons and stuff, it is really good. Like they did a really good job of getting a lot of different characters in there, keeping the stories diverse. So I've seen the first season, but I'm rewatching it because I want to watch the second one, and they tie in really tight.
I'm really glad you said this because I had no idea that was out there.
Oh yeah, it's good. And they ended it shortly after the movie came out because they wanted to make a new cartoon that was more modeled after the movie and not the comics. So it's kind of sad because it was really good. It's the best Marvel cartoon they've done in a long time. So
yay.
Yeah. So and then my last thing was because today they Walk Off the Earth. Have you heard of Walk Off the Earth, the band?
No.
Okay, they're the ones that did that song by Gautier, but they did it with one guitar.
Okay.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about?
I'm with you.
Yeah, well, they have great music, and they just released a new song today that was, well, it's a cover of Taylor Swift's "I Knew You Were Trouble," but it's all a cappella, and it's really good. It sounds really great. They're just amazing, and everything they do is their original work, their covers. It's all very entertaining to listen to and to watch. So
okay, very
and then
cool.
since you covered nerdy gifts,
yes, I think it's necessary.
Yeah, I think it's the time season. So, yeah, I said last week that I was getting Minecraft, and I did, and I've been playing it and loving it. But something I'm really excited about is I got a drawing tablet for the computer. So
okay, so what brand did you get?
Okay, all right. So it's actually for the Xbox.
Oh yeah,
but I can hook it up to my computer, so it's a Microsoft Xbox thing. So we're gonna see how that goes, and hopefully it works.
That's a twist I wasn't expecting. I want to hear more. I do.
Yeah,
so for those who don't know, I'm an art geek. So I work in digital imagery a lot. So when he says I got a drawing tablet, I'm like, I need specs.
Yeah.
Tell me more. So, great. Xbox.
I'll let you know. I wish it was like, I mean, if it was a bamboo or something like that, we could talk more. But so we'll see how it works. Hopefully it's cool. It hasn't arrived yet, but
very cool. All right, we're gonna move on to something that we promised.
Oh boy.
Do you have it?
I have it. I have it ready.
All right, everyone. So last week we covered strange and unusual, or to us, things that we thought were holiday traditions, and our listeners did respond and tell us what they did, and there was lots of fun of discussion there. We promised that we would taste some hot Dr. Pepper. And I have my distinctive winter warmer here with me.
As do I.
I will say the experience of heating this up, it didn't take very long.
No, it didn't.
The directions say until it steams. It was steaming within like a minute. Like I had it on medium heat, and I noticed steam very soon, and I'm like, there's no way that is as warm as I think it needs to be. So I in the interest of keeping it warm for longer, because I knew that we were going to sit here and record, which means it has to sit in a thermos. And I poured it over the lemon. So mine has actually been steeping for about an hour now.
Yeah, mine's probably around the same. Maybe a little bit longer, but it's still warm.
Oh yeah, mine is in a thermos. Yeah, it's still warm. So I think we need to mention that most people probably wouldn't wait an hour to do this. That the idea is that you're supposed to heat it up and pour it over a slice of lemon. Do you have your limon? I
have my limon.
Yes. And I poured it over some limon, and all right. So
I was with some friends last night when I bought this, and they were like, "Why are you buying a lemon?" And I was like, "I need it for this drink." And they're like, "With the Dr. Pepper?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll explain later."
So did they think you were crazy?
Yeah, a little bit. I was like, "We're gonna make this." I explained it, and they were like, "Why are you doing that?" And I was like,
"So, this is the first time that I've ever warmed up something that was very, very carbonated." And I think that's why it didn't take, like, is that true? Is it something that was really carbonated? Does it take as long to boil as non-carbonated objects?
I don't know. I mean, okay, so it took mine like maybe 2 minutes to really steam up, because I let it steam till it was like pretty steamy.
Right, exactly. I mean, how else are you supposed to do this? It's hot Dr. Pepper. It's supposed to be hot. Yeah. I'm procrastinating. Let's just do
Okay, let's just do it. All right.
It smells good. Are you ready? Yep. It's flat.
Okay. Yeah, it's flat. It's not as bad as I expected.
I don't feel like I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. Maybe that's because I taste a lot of lemon.
Yeah, yeah. It has like a, maybe that's the lemon. It has like a tang to it that kind of like hits the back of your throat. Do you get that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the lemon.
I'll say this. It's very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go out of my way to have it again.
No, I don't need to,
Yeah.
this is not calling to my soul.
It's not bad.
Maybe
it's not
this is why it failed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like I'm not going to finish this drink, but I won't have any more.
Right, and I'm going to drink the rest of my 2-liter cold. Because, I bought a 2-liter, or my husband went out and bought a 2-liter for me this morning because he's as sweet as ever, and I partied last night and slept late, and he came home. And he's like, wait a minute, you don't have your Dr. Pepper. And came back with my Dr. Pepper.
Hysteria hit the house, and you were like, what are we going to do?
My distinctive winter warmer. But no, why did they choose this? Why is, who over at Dr. Pepper company, like with the one dude who liked his Dr. Pepper hot, he's like, by the way.
You know what I bet it is? I bet it is either something with the recipe or something like they messed with putting lemon in it. And somebody liked it. And they were like, well, in order to get the lemon to seep out into the drink, it needs to be warm. So they were just like, well, let's just market it.
Do you think it has roots in the fact that Dr. Pepper was cough syrup at one point in time?
Wow, that's really what it tastes like. I didn't realize that.
Well, I mean, it's soothing in that way. Like, okay, let me say that this is not something that I would run to on a snowy day. I would run to hot cocoa or coffee.
Yeah.
Right?
I would hit tea.
It would be really hard or tea. It would be really hard to dethrone these things. But you know what? I am going to remember this, that if I have a sore throat or like I need something to soothe for sickness.
That is a really good idea.
That this would probably do the trick because it has the syrup and it has the lemon. Not too unlike a hot toddy.
Well, do you ever crave like soda when you're sick?
Sprite.
Yeah, me too. Like I'm like, I don't want water and I don't want tea. Like I kind of want soda.
Because I think the reason that happens with me is because when I'm sick, I don't eat a lot. And so my body is like needing something. And I'm like, I need something agreeable. And so often I'll go with Sprite. And maybe that's the lemon. Maybe this works as a hot drink with the lemon as a soother for cold.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. Okay. So we found usefulness for it.
Yes. I might put that to the test one day if I'm really sick and be like, you know what? I should try some hot Dr. Pepper with lemon.
Yeah.
But I guess they don't market it that way.
Not anymore. How old were those photos? Those photos were pretty old that we had.
Yes, they are. From the 60s.
Yeah.
Well, we completed our dare. I would say that it's not terrible.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that. I mean, like I said, I'll finish it. It's not like I was like, okay, no more of that, but I'm not going to rush to have it again.
I may be curious and do straight off the pan and see if that makes a big difference.
Whoa. Put it right in my veins!
Kind of like I do with coffee. Just as soon as possible. Just open my wrist, put it underneath the coffee pot. All right. So, we have both seen The Hobbit now.
This is a main topic we have been dancing around since the beginning.
Yes, well, it was immediate. This is happening. This is happening on Friday. If the listeners at this point, if you haven't seen The Hobbit, we apologize, but this is what we're covering. So. Yeah. Hopefully everybody's still with us, but this is the rest of the show. We'll have our weekly picks at the end, and we'll talk about what we're doing next week. So if you're curious about our weekly picks, just look down in the info, and they'll be there. So back to The Hobbit. So I think some precursor questions are in order before we discuss the movie.
Okay. All right.
Have you read the book?
I have read the book, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have not.
Okay.
And have you read the Lord of the Rings books?
I have. I am a certified Tolkien guy.
All right. So, as for this discussion, for the literature, David is our aficionado. Okay. I have not. And the reason I can't is because I've tried both reading and listening to unabridged audiobooks. They put me to sleep.
The beginnings of, well, what, have you read, was it The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings that you tried to read?
Both books. I've tried reading The Hobbit, and I've tried reading the first book of The Lord of the Rings.
Tolkien starts off very descriptive.
Yeah.
And it just kind of like, it goes on forever. And then you just reach a point where all of a sudden you're like, oh, like I know what he's talking about now just because he covered so much information before. So you really have to kind of
barrel through. Yeah. And I have never breached the point of no return. I can't get there. So like classically what I think of is they're all in the Shire and he's talking about all the Hobbit families and all the Hobbit families. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. Even though I know it's great, which is why I watch the films and I enjoy the films very much. So out of all the Middle-earth film work, what have you watched?
All of it.
I mean,
yeah, I'm like, so there's the Lord of the Rings. I own it. The original DVDs. I own the extended editions, and then I own the DVDs that are the extended and original combos because they had more documentary stuff on them.
Okay.
New stuff.
The cartoon, the Hobbit cartoon movie?
I have seen it, but not a fan.
Okay, and what about the Lord of the Rings first part made in 1979?
Also seen it, not a fan.
The film shaded. The cell shaded, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have seen everything. I have the same problem with the Hobbit cartoon that I do the books. It puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
I can feel the collective gasp. I feel bad about the Hobbit cartoon movie because so many of my friends have wanted me to watch and enjoy this movie the way that they enjoyed it when they were a kid. And I can't access that. Yeah. You know, like I can't go back to being a kid and watching this as a cartoon, you know? So as an adult, I watch it and I'm like, I'm asleep. I don't even make it to the dragon. I
have similar things with people trying to get me to watch Labyrinth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, I can see that. I can. I guess that's just the gap. So I was a little worried when I went into The Hobbit here because I'm like, please don't put me to sleep.
Well, they're just very different stories. I mean, The Hobbit is very much a kid's story, mm-hmm. and Lord of the Rings is very much a fantasy, like epic.
Exactly, and I think that actually came across in this version of the film too.
Yeah.
At least it definitely felt the difference in tone. So I think that translated. So another thing to talk about real quick before we get into the movie proper. You watched it in 3D.
Yes, I have seen it twice. So I saw it in IMAX, high frame rate 3D, and then I saw it in just normal 2D. Wow.
Okay, so you can give a nice comparison between the two. It was funny because the first time that I was supposed to go see it, our viewing got canceled because of other plans came up and intercepted. But I was supposed to watch it in 3D in something called a D-Box experience. Have you ever heard of this thing called a D-Box experience?
No, it sounds illegal.
That was my impression too. I'm like, what is this thing that they call the D-Box?
Do the police know?
And I don't know if this is something that my local theater does. I have to assume not, because they have to get the equipment. It's not like they have a factory to make themselves the special equipment. So I'm assuming there's other theaters out there with this equipment. So it's the 3D movie plus a chair that has special speakers and vibrates.
Oh, I have heard about this. I just didn't realize it was called the D-Box.
Well, maybe that's just what my theater calls it.
So you've you saw The Hobbit in this format in the end, or have you seen any movie like this before?
I didn't get to see it in that because of the cancellation. Instead, what we did is we went later for 2D.
Yeah.
So, and that was a much more affordable ticket. But yeah, that was the first time I've ever heard about the D-Box.
I've seen pictures of the chairs, and I don't know. I don't know what kind of market there is for that. The theater owner around here is a friend of mine, and he just built a new theater, and he didn't put any theater seating in like that. So I'm sure if it was like a viable thing, he would have thought of that. So it sounds like an expensive experience.
It was, and it is, and I don't understand why, but sure, I'm sure people pay for it.
Yeah.
They have to. Why would, I mean, like, or the theater's losing a lot of money.
I can't say that if I had the option, I wouldn't go to it. I probably would. So.
All right, so on to the movie proper. Okay, I have to say this. In one of the opening shots of the movie, there's some kites. And there's a dragon kite. And then there's a turtle kite.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm talking about when I say turtle kite?
I do.
I saw that and I'm like, I'm going to remember this forever. Like, it just has nothing to do with the movie, but there was a turtle kite, and I had turtle kite jealousy.
I want one.
Yeah, no, I want a turtle kite. I would fly a turtle kite.
Oh, I could totally see that.
I don't think that turtle kite looked very aerodynamic.
No. Neither did the dragon one. I was like, I don't know how that's whatever. The
magic of Middle Earth.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want a turtle kite.
I think we should set the tone for the two of us before we go any further. Just quick and easy. Did you like it? Did you not? And then we'll move forward to the other stuff. This way, people kind of know where we're coming from. So, did you like the movie?
Okay. When you ask me this question, I'm going to compare it to all moviedom in general. Yes, I liked this movie. Yes, It was entertaining. It was well shot. It just told a very good story. It had excellent acting. Very good movie. I enjoyed it. Yes.
Okay. I am going to come from the same point of view and say I very much enjoyed the movie, and I would definitely recommend it to any fantasy or Lord of the Rings fan. So
there you go. Now, then I think we need to. A lot of people have been coming back a little lukewarm on this movie, and I feel like that's weird. Yeah. Because it's like, our expectations are so sky high that it's not fair to compare a movie to what you think your imagination should, like, you cannot expect that.
Plus they had 3 fantastically amazing movies, but again, as we said, very different like tones before. So there are people who weren't Tolkien fans who became Lord of the Rings fans that expect Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, no.
And you cannot go expecting Lord of the Rings. It is too different.
It is. And I think that really came through how different it was. So yes, I did enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Yes. Now, things that I didn't enjoy as much that really caught me off guard was, while I accepted the tone, there were some scenes that were too... They ruined my suspension of disbelief.
Okay, give me an example.
Okay, so they were sleeping and they got trapped by the trolls or the goblins. Were they goblins or trolls?
The trolls in the forest, you mean?
No, the floor opened up and they fell down.
Oh, okay. Goblins.
Okay, those were goblins. Okay. So one, I have a hard time telling the difference between what they call a troll and what they call a goblin. So you'll have to forgive me because it's all under creatures.
I looked into this because I was like, what's going on here? Because they look different. So goblins and goblins and orcs are the same thing, but they're like different subsets. And
okay,
it goes that Sauron created the goblins first, and then he created the orcs, were like the next better version of the goblins. And then Saruman created the Uruk-hai, which were orcs perfected. So that's the way.
Okay. So, anyway. All right. And Saruman only did that after he turned.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Back to what I was talking about. So there were these moments that I felt like they couldn't have all survived. If that, like, I know it's supposed to be an incredible journey and it's an incredible adventure and it's all fantasy, right? It's all made up, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you take me along far enough, I do reach this point where I come up against, there's no way that they would have all survived this as clean as they did. So I had, maybe that's like the worst and snootiest thing a film watcher can do is suddenly decide where their line of reality is. And so it's a mistake, I think, on my part, but it still happened, where they fell down that chute, for one. It should have killed them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That chute, that rocket, that slide was awful, and they should have been knocked unconscious with all their bones broken. I mean, I don't know how they survived that.
Yeah.
But so they're down there in the claw then, and then they get carried away, and they're fine. They get carried away. And then, okay, so I'm okay. I'm doing all right. They're talking to the king. Fine. The chase scene out of that place broke immersion for me because it felt like I was suddenly watching a Jackie Chan movie.
Well, so yeah, and no, there was definitely a lot more of like what Legolas provided to the battles in Lord of the Rings, like the crazy acrobatic moves and like getting out of insane situations. I was kind of all right with it up until the very end when the Goblin King falls on them. When he fell. Did he fall at the same time or a little before? I can't remember, but it was like they would have all hit the ground at the same time, and there was a good 30 seconds of like comic relief before he smashed on them, and they would have been dead.
Well, okay. Maybe I can help you out with that. Maybe he caught on a ledge farther up, and it took him a little while to roll down.
That's true.
Either way, I mean, like, I did feel that. And also I felt like, how did not one of them die in the rubble? How did once the Goblin King fell on top of them, how did that not seriously injure somebody?
Yeah.
Like these questions come because I think about these things and like they were injured, sure, they were hurting, but they weren't hurting enough for.
Most of these guys die eventually, so it's just a matter of time.
Oh, okay, great, wonderful. But then directly after that, what do we get next? We get the storm giants. That whole scene I disliked very much. Just that one scene when they're in the mountains and there's the lightning and it's a storm and then all of a sudden the mountains are moving, and I get what they were going for, which is Middle Earth is a very big and expansive world full of amazing things that you won't understand, or you're going to just be small. You're going to not be able to deal with it. You know, I get it. But there's no context for why a bunch of mountains are having a slugfest.
Right. I forget if that's in the book or not, or if that's in the appendixes.
A friend told me that is a written story.
Yeah.
But they also told me that the mountain giants are making the thunderous noise, and what they think is a storm turns out to be giants having a slugfest. But it loses all translation if there's an actual thunderstorm going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Which there was in this movie. So that really lost me, and I felt like, for a 3-hour movie, if they had to cut anything, they shouldn't have put that in there. Like, somebody should have stopped Peter Jackson and be like, hold on, wait.
It was kind of fun, but you're right. I thought the same thing. I was like, this isn't fitting. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was like, guess it's all right.
You're going a bit long there. It was, a 10-minute scene. It seems to me like maybe that could have been in the director's cut.
Well, my problem with this movie is I knew there was going to be 3 of them, and I knew it was going to end somewhere, So 20 minutes into the movie, I kept thinking, is it going to end here? Even though I knew there was like a good 2.5 hours more of the movie, I was just like, maybe it's going to end here. Is this where it ends? Is this? So, I was always thinking like, yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit long, like, and it's only, they haven't even gone on the journey yet. So
yeah, I'm already, halfway through. It's like, hold on, wait a minute. They're still sitting in the Elven settlement there. It's like, what are they going to do now? Another thing, did you, in both 2D and 3D, experience fuzzy panning?
Yes. Okay. This is one of the things that I really want to talk about. So I saw it in the HFR 3D, and which was not, by no fault of the theater whatsoever, the worst movie-going experience that I have ever had.
Oh.
I couldn't see. Like, 3D has never bothered me, but even by the time like the logos had gone by, I was starting to feel nauseous. Any movement was just like a giant blur. I had no idea what was going on. There were certain parts, like if we were talking about the goblin fight underground, that whole scene I had to hold one hand over my eyes so that I could watch it.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was horrible, and the blur was insane. Now, some people said they haven't had that problem, but the high frame rate is not for me. It's too fuzzy. Now, when I saw it in 2D, I didn't get that. I didn't get the fuzz.
You didn't detect it at all?
No.
Okay, I did. And it was something that was very noticeable to me, and it was also noticeable to my husband. We both left the theater, and we said, well, did you feel like every time the camera moved for a fast pan that it just turned into a blur? And we're like, yeah, that happened. And it was a weird feeling, because at first I'm like, I wish it didn't look like that. Like, I've seen plenty of panning and action movies and things like that, and never thought, well, that's a bad blur there. Instead, the feeling was like the movie itself was drunk, and it's like, no, I want more focus. I wish that was more in focus.
And the high frame rate, or the way they filmed it, was supposed to eliminate that, which is kind of funny. I
don't think it did.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
In fact, maybe it made it worse. I don't know if there was just more information there. If it's a learning curve, I doubt it. I don't think it is. I think, I mean, were all the movies filmed already?
I think that if they're not finished, they're finishing.
Okay, then this is what we're going to get for the second and third then.
Yeah.
No big deal. I'm still going to enjoy them, but I feel like there's something wrong here. Like, this execution didn't quite... And again, we're getting hypercritical of an astounding movie.
yeah, the movie is great.
Right, so that should be no reason. Like, I don't know. I feel like this movie is groundbreaking and great in the same ways that Avatar was. It's just beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Even more like Lord of the Rings films, gorgeous. This movie had me going, whoa, like that is so pretty. Case in point, they're all in Rivendell. Is it Riverdale or Rivendell? Rivendell. And they're all standing with the sunset, and Gandalf is talking to Elrond and Saruman, right? Saruman. And Galadriel. And the sun is setting, and that entire scene, I was just drinking it in. I'm like, this is so pretty. I'm just watching everything. So pretty. The elves are so pretty. I mean, that's just great cinematography. That was wonderful.
Yeah. Did you realize Christopher Lee is 90 years old? Saruman.
Oh,
I know. I couldn't believe. I was like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, there's a reason he was sitting down." I was like, "Wow."
Oh no, his presence is not of that of a 90-year-old. I had no idea that he was that old.
Ian McKellen's like late 70s, early 80s or something too.
He was keeping up.
Yeah, he was.
Oh no, don't tell me about these things, because it just reminds me that these people are going to leave us. No. No, no, my actors are not allowed to leave us. Especially Ian McKellen, who I adore. But so overall, I have to say, oh my goodness, Richard Armitage. I don't know how to say his last name. Guy who played Thorin.
Yeah.
The King. Excellent. Like, I think it's out of all the performances, I found his to be very compelling. Because I think it's difficult to play a charismatic leader, and I think he plays a charismatic leader very well. He plays a king, you know. So like he took me in the same way that Strider took me in, and for the first set of films. So I think they casted this very, very well.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite? Dwarf? Was he your favorite?
He was my favorite. Okay. Oh yeah.
I think that Keeley, Adian Turner's character, was my favorite.
Is that because of the books?
No, just from the movie. He was the one that had the hat that kind of like curved back up, had the flaps.
Yes, I loved his hat. No, I did love his hat. My favorite beard was the one that was like a circle beard, like the redheaded one.
Oh yeah.
And his beard went back up into his beard like that didn't make any sense. Like he had a braid and it was like a necklace, and then it went back up into his beard.
There are a couple guys that didn't. I don't think that Bobber had any speaking roles. The redheaded one. There's the thing is watching this movie, I'm like, okay, there's probably an extended edition, and I think, what more could there be? And then you think about it, you're like, well, there was like 2 or 3 dwarves that didn't talk the entire movie. Like, there's probably scenes with them in it and speaking. So I don't know.
You know, I'm looking at the IMDb, and apparently some of the dwarves also played trolls. They played the trolls. They did the voices for the trolls.
Yeah, I noticed that on the IMDb for The Desolation of Smaug, that Benedict Cumberbatch is noted as being both Smaug and the Necromancer. So that's interesting.
Well, why not? I mean, if it's all CG, it's not like we're going to be pulled out of it, and people can really be dynamic with their voice, especially Benedict Cumberbatch.
There's a botch. Cumberbatch. I'll just call him Cumberbatch because that's funny.
Cumberbatch. Also, I got to hand it off to Martin Freeman. What a fantastic home run as Bilbo.
So good.
Because, okay, maybe not the Bilbo from the books, as somebody has pointed out to me, maybe that's their personal opinion, but from the movies, that translated to me entirely. I was, even though 2 completely different people, he did such a great Bilbo. He
did. The only Bilbo part that I was disappointed in was when he got the ring from Gollum. Mm-hmm. There is a scene in Lord of the Rings where he puts the ring on for the first time, and I was like, why didn't they just try and redo that? And
instead of mimicking the movie?
Well, they had him do a thing like where Frodo fell and the ring fell on his finger. Yeah. But I don't remember if it was The Two Towers or Return of the King, there's talk of how Bilbo found the ring from Gollum, and he's like scrounging on the floor, and he finds the ring, and he puts it on.
I did notice that between the 2 different films. I noticed that for The Hobbit they redid that scene.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's interesting, but the reason I figured they had to do that was because the person who was acting in the one in the films was the other guy.
Yeah.
So maybe Martin Freeman could have been put through the same exact scene, but one implies that he came upon the ring on the ground while Gollum, it was in the background going, "It's lost," you know. Yeah. That's from Lord of the Rings. And then in The Hobbit, instead what happens is Bilbo sees it fall out of his pouch, and he just picks it up and puts it in his pocket. And then I forget how he discovers how it ends up falling on his finger the same way it falls on Frodo's finger.
Yeah. It worked. It was
2 completely different.
Yeah, that was the only part of Bilbo that bothered me.
maybe. I mean, I'm sure the director had a reason.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, we're gonna have to redo this because we didn't know we were gonna make this movie. Yeah. Okay, it's okay as long as Jackson, as long as he never goes back to the first movie and replaces the scene. As long as he never does that, I'm totally okay with it.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, as long as he doesn't touch the old ones and change them.
As long as he doesn't pull a George Lucas.
Yeah.
But that would make me cry. Like, people, let's all learn from George Lucas. Let's not do that.
Yeah, from his horrible, horrible mistakes.
His violation of our youth. Any more thoughts on The Hobbit?
I feel like we could talk about it forever, but I think we covered what we need to cover.
I would like to know what everybody else thought of it. If you've seen it, if you came this far, what did you think about The Hobbit? Did you have the fuzzy panning problem? What was your favorite scene? Did you like the turtle kite? Come on. There was a turtle kite in this movie. I want to see Smaug. So excited.
The music, okay, last final note for me, music at the end, good, just like with all the other films. I love the soundtracks.
I loved the soundtrack of this movie more than I liked the other movies, and I do want to own it. I want to have the dwarven singing. I want it mine. In fact, I came home. I have Spotify. So I just turned on Spotify and I searched for it and I just listened and listened and listened. And I'm like, oh, it's so wonderful. I need to own this. And I probably will.
Great.
Okay. It's time for the weekly pick.
Yeah. Okay. My weekly pick is Red Letter Media. If you're not familiar with Red Letter Media, they do comedic, very strong movie reviews. They also have a character called Mr. Plinkett, who is a disabled elderly guy who likes Hot Pockets, who reviews the Star Trek movies, the Star Wars movies, and these reviews are like almost as long, if not longer, than the movies themselves.
Okay. So
it is really funny to listen to. Like, you would think, why would I want to listen to this guy review? But he points out things he hadn't been thinking about, and it's very funny. And they have a weekly show called Half in the Bag where two guys talk about they kind of go and try and see a mix between what's popular and what's total crap, and then they just like talk about the movies very critically, and most of the time they tear them apart, but they do it in a very comical, entertaining way. So that's my pick of the week. Okay.
And my pick of the week is a little bit overdue. I say that because this is one of my favorite people on the planet. Dane Owens. Dane Owens. Dane Owens is a musician in the Hollywood business. I want to say he's a director. He's in the entertainment industry. He has a lot of connections in the entertainment industry. I want to say the feeling I get from Dane Owens is that he's one of these producer, directors, technical types that end up helping make films and stuff like that. But really, really, really what he wants is to be in the films, and he's not. But he also has a great imagination, and he's a total geek. He's a total nerd, and I love him. And he's a perfect example of somebody who should just do what they want to do. Because
his music videos are great. They're so epic.
Right. He only has one out right now. I'm still waiting for the second one. And I go to his website, chrisdaneowens.com. And you will see or find your way to the most epic music video ever made.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. And that music video is it's his song and it's his music and it's him singing with all his heart. And the world that he is in is of his own design, and it is inspired by anime, and it is a movie like compressed into 2.5 minutes.
Man, I remember when you sent me this video, you were so excited.
I was like, I must indoctrinate you.
Yeah, I was like, this is so epic. It's so crazy, but so awesome.
So like, you take it and you push it, and then you realize that he just kept going. He just kept going. Nothing's stopping this man.
Yeah.
I want to be clear about something. I am a fan. I am not mocking him. He is a wonderful person, and I can't wait to find out what else he does, because I'm sold. Because he does it with great enthusiasm, and it reads and everything. Like, I love the genuineness of his fandom. And so he definitely a highlight, and he is an aficionerdo, whether he knows it or not. So kudos to him. Go check out Dane Owens. Go indoctrinate yourself if you have never seen his work.
It's worth your time.
It is only about 5 minutes of your life, but once you experience it, you'll be forever changed. Next week, as we come to a close here, Happy New Year.
Yeah, welcome to 2013, Elaine.
Yes, it's going to be a great year. You know what? We did not die.
Amazingly, yeah, we survived an apocalypse.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to put a little bit of research into the greats of 2012, find out what topped the charts, so to speak, in the nerd world.
And I'll look forward to 2013 and kind of mark down what's coming up and what we should be excited for.
I think we should. This should happen. It's January. We need to know what's coming up.
That's right.
So, also, listeners, if you have anything that you think is notable in 2012, let me know.
Or anything that you're looking forward to in 2013, definitely let me know.
There we go. Wonderful. Hashtag Aficionerdo at Twitter.
Yeah, you can email us at aficionerdo@gmail.com.
And I'm found on Twitter as 8-Bit Dame.
I'm DB Moulton on Twitter.
All right. Great. This is wonderful. I will see you next week.
Yeah. So once again, I'm David Moulton.
And I'm Elaine 8bytes.
And this has been the Aficionerdo podcast. See you later.
Bye-bye.